exactly what it is, but it's hypoalgae, but,
Yeah, that fuzzy stuff on top goes around and floats,
yeah,
and that has a name. I looked at
yeah,
it.
but I think,
You
yeah.
got the blobs, because
But I
they're so
think the
evenly
blobs are
distributed.
related to the fuzzy stuff. I think it almost turns into those blobs.
Yeah.
Blobs are related, okay.
The lake is doing some different things this year.
It's blobbing.
All right, we're live, and
Fuzzy
we're
out to
going to
the end.
start the call to order, the July 1st, 2025 meeting of the Long Lake City Council. It is 6:34 p.m. this evening. All council members are present in the council chambers with the exception of council member Newcomer, who is joining us remotely this evening. So with that, we'll move on to item number 2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 3 is mayor's comments, Long Lake news, meeting reviews, and updates. So a few things tonight. We just finished a city council work session where we exclusively had our first discussion regarding the preliminary 2026 Long Lake City budget. So brainstormed some ideas with staff and got some budget numbers from staff and more discussions to come on that. Other items to bring up tonight or to mention is there's a slow no wake advisory on Long Lake itself. City staff has done a really good job putting out information about that. You go to our city website and get a pop-up about that, and it's been disseminated elsewhere as well. We may have a further discussion about that during open or other business tonight. We'll see about that. Otherwise, last week I participated in the Long Lake Fire Department mass casualty drill exercise. They did a really good job. They do that annually, putting on a mass casualty drill where they have some role players, invite in other fire departments to participate. So Orono Fire Department was there and West Suburban Fire Department. Good training for the firefighters, and neat to see how well the firefighters respond to a mass casualty incident, and appreciate their efforts on that. Hopefully it's nothing they'll ever need to have to do, but good to be trained for it. Last week I went to the League of Minnesota Cities annual conference in Duluth and represented our city. We had a lot of neighboring cities sent council members as well, and I enjoy that event. It's really good training, really good breakout sessions on different things that impact our city, so I'll be bringing some of that back to staff and the council in the coming weeks here. I've already started a little bit. Upcoming events, we have 12 days and Saturday, so I encourage the community to come out and join that event. Our chamber has put on a lot of, Long Lake Area Chamber of Commerce has put in a lot of work into that event and planning it. Hopefully we'll have good weather that day and can get out and enjoy it. As well as that morning is also the Long Lake Fire Department Red Hot 5K run at 11 a.m. I think we settled on. So sign up for that and come out and enjoy that event, a new route this year. All right, so I think I covered all the topics for some city updates there. With that, we'll move on to item 4, which is to approve this evening's agenda. I will accept a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And when we have a remote council member, then we need to do a voice vote through on all of our votes. So I'll start with bless you, Councilmember Feldman.
Aye.
All right, Councilmember Dyvik.
Aye.
I am an aye. Minor. Councilmember
Yay.
Qualley. Yeah, we'll go with the yay, okay. And Councilmember Newcomer.
Aye.
All right, got an a yay. All right, you pass unanimously. Item 5, consent agenda. We have items A through E on the consent agenda this evening. Any questions for staff regarding items on the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion on approving the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, starting with Councilmember Feldman.
Yay. Switching that up for you.
Councilmember Dybek.
Aye.
All right, I'll be an aye.
And I'll be a yay.
Councilmember Newcomer. Is he muted? There you go.
You got to me, but yay, aye, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, item 6, open correspondence. Open correspondence is an item on the agenda in which the public may address the city council. No formal action is taken by the city council, and comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less. Open correspondence comments may also be emailed to city staff by noon on the date of the meeting. Any submitted open correspondence this evening?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 7, regular business, 7A, reschedule Tuesday, August 5th, City Council work session and regular meetings due to Night to Unite. And Jeanette, did you want to walk us through this one?
Every year, Night to Unite always occurs on the first Tuesday in August, and our mayor and council members are often out and about participating and visiting neighbors at some of the neighborhood gatherings that are held. So we do typically reschedule that first meeting. Most often to Wednesday. We would always recommend rescheduling the meetings to a date within the same week if possible. So that's what we're asking the council to consider tonight, is a motion to reschedule the Tuesday, August 5th, City Council work session and regular meetings to take place on Wednesday, August 6th, or an alternative date that week.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any conflicts with Wednesday, August 6th?
I'm going to be out of town. So,
But it probably doesn't matter, we also going to be gone?
The whole
Okay.
week.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
It's my
I get back-
anniversary.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to.
I get back like Friday, so that's not a great night.
Okay.
Also
Friday.
do Monday the 4th.
Monday the 4th. Any,
I'm out.
same with you?
Yeah, I'm still out.
Right.
Any issues Monday the 4th?
What about Todd?
Todd, would you be available on
Yeah,
Monday the
that
4th?
looks, we're on the 4th, right?
Yep,
August? Yep.
4th looks good.
Okay.
okay. Councilmember Feldman, would you be interested in attending remotely? Just checking before we make the motion here.
Yeah, I won't be able to.
No, yeah,
Okay.
that'd be.
Yeah, I may
No
be
problem.
in the ocean, so
Okay,
may not work. So.
okay.
All right. And so that works for everybody except for Councilmember Feldman? Great. Let me just triple check here. A couple calendars. Yeah. No, that looks good. So Monday, August 4th.
And we just need
We
a
need a
motion on
motion.
that.
All right, I'll make a motion to reschedule the Tuesday, August 5th council meeting to Monday, August 4th, also at 6:30 PM. Anyone
I'll
want-
second that. Was that a motion?
That was a motion,
I'll second
yes.
that motion.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, Councilmember Feldman,
Yes.
Councilmember,
Affirmative.
all right, I'm an aye.
Yay.
Councilmember Qualley is a yay, and Councilmember Newcomer was an aye, or yay, or something like that. All right, this is fun. This is gonna be fun. All right,
Minutes are gonna be great.
I have yet to hear yet.
that's true. That's more of a Minnesota thing, right? All right, that one is done. Thank you to staff for bringing it forward, and for those available on who are not out of town on Tuesday, August 5th. That's join our police and fire officials as you go around the city and to various Unite events. So all are welcome to participate in that event. They're always looking for somebody to play McGruff, the crime dog, as well. So keep that in mind. Usually you got to be maybe 6'3" and over to do that. So if that narrows it down at all, but.
Scott, how tall are you?
All right.
I've done it before.
All right, item 7B is in Boy, Fire Department transition and future fire service news and updates. I would say not a whole lot to report for myself on that event, or on that topic tonight. We continue to have good dialogue with City of Orono on going back and forth on some draft agreements, both joint powers agreement and a lease agreement regarding fire station. So that is moving forward. I think our goal, both cities' goal is to have the joint powers agreement signed by July 1st, which is ironically today. But I think that was, I think there's maybe wishful, but parts that go into doing that, and everything is on track, I would say. It's just, we gotta, I think both cities want to ensure that they have a good contract or agreement that's going to be enforced for many, many years. So I want to make sure it's all the I's are the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted kind of thing. So any other comments on that? All right. If not, we'll move on to 8, other business. Councilmember Feldman.
Yeah, one thing is, I know like with the no wake, that was something, I think we have a sign out there. I didn't know. Yeah, and I think I approached somebody on the lake that had a wake. I think we were close to a foot over. And he stopped right away, but I don't know if we should re-examine how we communicate with people, because people aren't getting the message, I don't think. But and I don't know if the person I talked to towed on or if they were a member of the lake and just a new resident that I didn't know. It's a boat I didn't recognize, but
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I've been getting some commentary on that one over the last few days, and the consensus that I've heard, or at least the observation that was communicated to me, is less that they're not seeing the sign and more that they're not interested in the sign.
Well, but that's a conclusion that I don't know how you can make that.
Exactly, that's an assumption.
That might be the case. I mean, I certainly saw this weekend, there was plenty of people out there that were disregarding it. And I know we have that sign that you sent to me, Scott, which is good. But having like another sign, which is big letters or something, like Marty sent me a photo of a sign that they used to use, and I sent that to you, and it just said, no wake. And actually the sign I think we have there, so I think it says please no wake, and it shouldn't be please, because it's not a request, it's an ordinance, right? And so it is no wake, it's not optional. And so I would be in favor of having an additional sign, even like we just had it in a traffic cone, like it was just like big letters. And the other thing I was going to ask, so because people were asking me, hey, what do we do about that? And I said, well, you can call the sheriff and see if they'll come out. And a lot of people say, I don't want to be that guy, and I didn't either. I didn't call, but then I thought, well, if it's bad enough, I mean, I had waves coming over my dock, because of even people that weren't wake surfing, although there were wake surfers out there at one time. But didn't the sheriff say when he was here that you could call 911 even if there was an issue with the lake, which
we
seems
have that posted down there.
Yeah, because that seems like people are going to say, oh, I don't want to call 911. It's not an emergency.
That
but
is what
that's
we
what
put
they
on the
said to
sign,
do, right?
Actually, we put.
That's the new process.
Yeah.
I
Goes
educate
to Hennepin County.
everyone that I have the opportunity to speak with about it, that 911 is not just for emergencies now in Hennepin County. 911 is for everything
Response.
because it's a report. It also triggers a linking and reporting system with a responding law enforcement agency. So that's kind of a good way to explain it. So I tell them it's for everything from a true personal emergency or any kind of emergency to
Dog
your neighbor's
barking.
barking dog.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of those calls. I actually had one today. And I did speak with someone today who was aware of some folks that did call Water Patrol on Saturday.
Correct.
And Water Patrol did come out to respond, but the gossip and rumor mill is that where Water Patrol may have a bit of a more visible presence often on Lake Minnetonka, the rumor mill says that word is out that Long Lake is not an active enforcement lake because Water Patrol doesn't have the resources to prioritize a small lake like ours. And so that's just.
Well, I have seen them come out occasionally over the years. I mean, not on a regular basis, but
Yes.
I mean, they will if
They do
I think
respond.
they will respond if they're not responding somewhere else, probably.
Exactly, yes. Yep, and
But I would think if enough people called, then maybe it would prioritize it
that would
higher.
prioritize it, I would assume as well, yes. And like I said, reports were made on Saturday. And I want to be clear too, to be fair, Birches had an event scheduled. It was a demo of wake boats, and they did adhere, to my knowledge, to the requirement, and the boats simply traveled between, you know, the dock and then down to Birches, and were just parked there. So, there's been some commentary that it was related to that. I don't, it's not necessarily fair to hold Birches responsible for what public lake users were doing. I communicated with Water Patrol as well, and they said there was just a lot of activity going on.
Yeah,
It
I think
jet
it was,
skis,
I think it was just
everything.
others. I don't think it
Yes,
was them.
exactly. And so I want to be clear that we really can't make that link. That's not very fair.
So what happens when Water Patrol pulls them over?
It gives them a warning, probably.
Well, so I was told they set like, so I had a resident approach me yesterday and lives on Long Lake resident, said their dock was obliterated on Saturday night by boaters. They called Water Patrol.
By the
They
waves
called
from
Water
boaters,
Patrol
or-
by the waves, yeah. And there's 3 boats doing it. Water Patrol responded rather quickly, and according to this person, they were ticketed. The Water Patrol
Oh, they were?
ticketed 3 different boaters for violating the no wake rule. So that was a success story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I need to call, and you know, they're gonna be busy this weekend. I'm sure it's gonna be a busy weekend on all the
Well,
lakes
yeah,
this weekend.
it's
and-
got a long ways to go. It's not likely to get down
No.
before.
I know.
But, I mean, we'll monitor it and see.
Do we have Water Patrol's number posted on that sign of the lake?
I
Let's say
think
the
we actually have an explanation that says call 911 because, again, that was what we were directed to do, and they approved that sign before we put it up.
But is Water Patrol through 911 too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Water Patrol is
Makes sense.
just an enforcement
That
within
makes
that.
perfect sense, okay.
Yep,
And we're
yep.
right underneath the dock.
Yeah.
Some docks are under already.
Yeah, so, and like this person that spoke to me also mentioned like Orono residents who live on the north side of the lake, you know, is there a mechanism where they're communicated with, you know?
Well,
this-
this was something that was new for us this year. The moment we put that advisory on, I reached out to my new partner in communications over at Orono and picked up the phone and gave Rachel a call and said, hey, I'm going to be sending you this. We just posted this on our Facebook. It's up on our website. And she also put it out on their Facebook page. So this was actually the first time, I think, that we've had a slow no wake on, and both Long Lake and Orono communicated it together. So it's kind of ironic that we probably communicated it better than we have before. But this is the year that we're seeing more violations, and so I spoke with someone today who says you really can't do anything more than that. You just need to expect people to play by the same rules, and I don't know what to do about that, given that we don't have enforcement jurisdiction. So
And it's probably not lake residents, probably mostly visitors who
Yeah, I
are
think
the
it is.
violators, yeah. Yeah.
But I think we should keep that in mind too in the future when we are starting to talk about
yep.
parking. You know, I know it's come up in years since I've been here, ways to find more parking for
This is exactly why we don't.
Yeah, so this has come up quite a bit. People want more about parking, and we just don't have the lake for it.
If
And
you
so
have
I
to
think
take your
when they-
shoes off because the dock's underwater to get into your boat, there's
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they pulled the docks in though, didn't they?
And they were underwater again, so they pulled them up a little bit, but the other day, like, they were underwater.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, I
posted
took
the-
that yesterday morning.
So this is the
like-
sign here, right?
Yeah, there's 2 signs, just there and there.
But isn't one of the signs that's on the board, doesn't it, saying it's no wake when it's about?
Yes.
And that's confusing because I had some people come saying, hey, it's no wake because I saw a sign there. I said, no, that's a sign that says when it's a no wake, you know, when it's above a certain level. So there was maybe some confusion about
Oh,
that.
I think the sign itself is not confusing. It's that people see the biggest letters and
Yeah,
don't always read the rest of the
Right,
sign.
but-
Because the sign, the language isn't unclear, actually. It just says, be advised, this could happen when the lake reaches this.
right, but that's one, yeah, so having that sign, but see, these other signs maybe, look, which is the sign that's always there? Oh, that
I
one.
think
Okay.
that one I can't read in this
Yeah.
picture, but.
I don't know, I wouldn't mind having something that was bigger, that,
Yeah.
Would
when-
really
when
stand
people
out.
Tow in, they're not reading any of those. They need a big 2 foot by 4 foot,
even
no
put
wake.
some, even
Sandwich
put
board
something
kinda
out on the
thing.
dock.
Dock, yeah.
Something out on the dock, because then there's, that's where their boat's going, so.
Yeah, except in that storm, that would ended up in the middle of the lake.
That's true,
Yes,
yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's amazing how quick the water came up. I've never seen it come up this fast,
Oh, the-
before.
Well, it rained so hard, I think it was just saturated, nowhere to go,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
that second.
Plus,
rain-
we're getting all the water from, what was it, Holy Name and Mooney and those other lakes that feed into.
We have the pleasure of driving over the Crow River, going
It's
to and
really-
from work, and it is unreal how quick that came up.
A lot of rain out that way to the west.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just opened up a bucket on Buffalo.
Right, right.
Will we
All
have
right.
other business for you?
No, I just wanted to bring that up, but yeah, I think signage it would be huge on the launch, but I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Well, I think
No, I think
something out on the dock or.
So who measures the water and makes the call? Like you guys have to
Sandwich,
make?
Well, we
something.
have a,
Exact same sign grade.
John does?
well, I do. I mean, we have a marker on the dam that
Oh,
determines when. we're-
okay. And so you're the,
Yeah, so I go over there and look, and right now, probably inches high, not more.
so somebody.
In fact, we're over the
dam.
plate. You know the plate I'm talking about?
Yeah. This is the highest I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's been higher. I've had it up on my grass, which is quite a bit higher, but,
We've only lived there since 17,
Yeah,
so I don't know,
yeah.
was it before that?
yeah, it was before that.
Okay.
Change the subject.
Sure.
I have a
Floor is
question.
yours.
I should have asked this when we were doing the consent agenda, but on this application for gambling at San Pancho, this is for like pull tabs or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember I'm on the Orono football board, and we were talking about maybe trying to do that, but now you can only have one organization do that, so I guess they've taken that up. But the question I have is, I see that one of the things they initial is, I understand that during any year that this organization is licensed to conduct lawful gambling, this organization shall expend no less than 40% of its net profits from gambling operations in the city of Long Lake? So they,
Or
How do you-
the contiguous area,
Area,
so
community.
Orono qualifies as well.
or located within city trade area.
Yep.
So isn't that how, because I know the Lions do, the Mound Lions, is it? West Tonka Lions are in,
Yeah, Northwest Tonka Lions make a lot of donations to the fire department.
and Buckhorn Days,
And Buckhorn
fireworks.
Days.
But I mean, but this is Holy Name Catholic High School, so they're this is a fundraiser for their organization.
Yes.
So how do they now have to spend,
That is an ordinance
40%.
requirement, and it's also pretty standard.
And the state, they'll have to report that to the state.
Exactly, yeah.
meaning, but they have to like, on our businesses, is that,
In our area.
Really?
Yes, because.
but I mean, they're raising money for their organization, which is not necessarily,
But out of our community,
But
based
exactly.
from our community members.
Right,
And so it's part of this Minnesota state
Yes.
gambling requirements.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Marks out.
yeah, I guess I just don't know, A, how you enforce that, and B, it kind of seems like it defeats the purpose of their fundraising, because they're trying to like fund, their sports organizations or whatever organizations they have in their school, and
Keep in mind, it's percent of profit,
Yes,
not percent of net, or of growth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's their percent of profit, so they're still getting a good amount of their profit.
yeah,
But they're doing that so you don't have larger organizations from, let's say, Minneapolis, taking over all these communities and it just going back
Oh,
to
yeah.
Minneapolis. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, I guess
It's
that
to
makes
try to
sense.
keep the money where the money was spent.
right. And it's a great way to do things. So for example, there was a year that the Waters Association was looking to do a CART project. They were trying to do fundraising and they were struggling a little bit on that. Connected them with the JCs who conduct gambling activities out of Carbonis, and the JCs were very excited to make a substantial donation that really helped fund a lot of the work.
so the JCs have the gambling out of Carbonis.
They have Carbonis.
Somebody has
Yep.
Bucks, somebody has Red
The hockey
Rooster.
boosters have Bucks, and
Yeah.
the Red Rooster is the Tonka Lions. Yep.
Nobody has Birches.
Nobody has Birches.
There you go.
Surprising. And then the city, we get 10%
Yeah, I saw that
Yes.
too, yeah.
And so, but it's restricted, and so
Yes.
that's when we talk about using gambling proceeds for different projects, it's restricted, but we try to find ways to use it.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
What is it restricted to in a?
Well,
Community improvement, so actually in 2024, we purchased the merry-go-round over at the park.
Oh, okay.
In 2025, we
That's
replaced
specifically activities for youth, I think.
Youth activities.
Yep.
2020, and arts. 2025, we replaced a slide. 2026, or if it comes down when we start looking more at these banners, that's where you and I were talking a little
Oh,
bit about
yeah.
art. Because we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
can look for.
I would
community
really
arts.
like to see those banners, new
And
banners.
that's something,
Yep.
and that's why I'd mentioned, if we do just a plain city logo, it would have to come out of city. If it's something where community
includes-
members are submitting art, then it would qualify for that. So, we're always just looking for different ways like that, but it is restricted to community involvement, like community
Yep.
organizations.
We also
Youth.
use that fund to pay for the portable restrooms for
Yes,
Buckhorn Days
Buckhorn
every
Days.
year. Because nonprofit organizations sponsoring events is one of the ones we can
Community events,
donate
yep.
to, yes, so.
Nice.
That's all I have.
All right, sounds good. You know, we talked about roads a little bit during the work session. I just brought up that map and refreshed my memory that Lakeview and Upper Lee Lane are both, and this is in 2023, are rated as poor, is the red for poor, and so is Virginia Avenue, which is completely gone now. That's been replaced. Otherwise, it's just Glenmore and Green Hill over to the east side of the city that are the only other ones that are in poor condition according to the map. But yeah, I just ask staff again to, it's 2023, it'd be great to have a 2025 updated version along with, you know, consultation between Public Works and WSP.
Yeah, because it looks like Grand isn't quite as
they were
red.
weren't they orange?
Right, Grand is orange, correct. Yep. So it's, yeah, I forgot about Upper Lee is just as bad as,
That's Upper Lee Central, and
yeah, Central's
Can we get
orange.
estimates for those?
yeah, we've been kicking it around, so I know that it's top of mind. I just don't know if we have the dollar amounts yet in scope or anything like that.
Well,
Again, for the size of the road, anything involving a mill and overlay on Lakeview is gonna be a little more intensive due to the drainage issues and culvert issues that are there, so
It's gonna be it'll be a
it's
recon.
gonna be a little bit bigger, yeah.
Right.
Remember, Brian Miller came in and
yeah,
had his
but
presentation?
it's not. Well, I don't know how long it is, but it's not Grand Avenue length, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, but it's just like understanding the utility lifetime of what's there and
That's
matching up the
You walked that a lot.
surface
You walked that a
lifetime
lot.
with what the utilities are.
It's one of the oldest roads in town.
Yeah.
Which is ironic, because I don't think it's where most of the water main breaks happen.
I don't think there's water main in it.
Oh, that would
I
explain
think it's
it.
sewer, and then there's no storm, so that's why I'm saying it's like a recon.
That
Like,
would be a good one then, yeah.
so there's still stuff in there. It just, I don't think they have any. I wonder if they did some drillings and there's no subsurface under there either, so it has to be like
Yeah,
dug
I
down and
noticed
rebuilt.
that.
So
Yep. All right, thanks for looking into that. That's it for me. Councilmember Qualley?
I think you got a phone call that there might be an offer or purchase agreement for the sale of the LMCC building, and so that brings up the issue of rental and a rental agreement, and
Revisiting the lease.
Yeah.
Making sure there's nothing we need to tweak. And then permitting.
yep, and
I did speak with Jim a little bit before too, and he mentioned their estimate for the office area improvements on the lower level. The contractor's estimate was about 80,000, so not a couple million, that was good.
and that might, I mean, some time has lapsed.
So that would change more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So improvements to the Public Works building of that much?
To the lower level offices, yep.
And yeah, okay.
And I can't speak to anything, but I think the working model for the LMCC will be changing coming December or January 1st. So they're gonna have, it's really gonna be a one-man show, so I think that might have even been scaled down a little bit too.
The only thing that I do know is they need a first floor space due to the equipment needs, so. Still a lot of space in that building if we ever have a wild hair about moving.
All right, good update there. Thank you. Councilmember Newcomer, anything for other business?
No, I think I'm good. I just want to extend my thanks to the council and staff for allowing me to do this remotely. I greatly appreciate the family time.
Good. I'm glad you could join us. All right, Scott, anything else?
I do not have anything.
Jeanette?
I'm good, thank you.
Amanda?
I have nothing, thank you.
Wow, okay. All right, so our next meeting will be on July 15th, Tuesday, July 15th. Looking forward to that. All right, if there's no objection, I'll adjourn the meeting by general consent. Hearing none, meeting's adjourned at 7:04 PM.
Well, that was quick.
Not a record, but pretty quick.